Hey, what's going on everyone? Nigel here, and today we're going to talk about the best way for you to increase your income as a W-2 employee. And I think this video is incredibly important because, let's be real, most people are not going to be business owners. A lot of people don't really have entrepreneurial DNA, and increasing their income through a job or being an employee is going to be the way that they are going to be able to increase their income. And just because you aren't a business owner and you aren't an entrepreneur, it doesn't mean you can't have a great income. There's a lot of great people that have a lot of great incomes as a W-2 employee, and me, myself, I've been able to double and even triple actually quadruple my income from my first ever job to what I have now as a tech sales account executive. And I'm going to walk you through the main steps that I've used to progress through my career within the past 8 years, and hopefully you can apply some of this knowledge for yourself. And so if you find this video valuable, please give it a like, please subscribe. I would very much appreciate that, and let's get into it, man. First of all, let's talk about why this is so important. So in my last video, I talked about the best way to get out of debt, and the synopsis of that was to increase your income, because you're going to be able to increase your payoff date a lot faster, and then you're going to put yourself in a better position to increase your savings and investing rate to increase wealth by having a larger increase in income. And the other thing is to get your money mindset right, which is focusing on abundance, which is increasing your income, which has unlimited upside, whereas decreasing your expenses has limited upside. You can only decrease your expenses so much. So before we jump in, I'm going to jump into this very interesting tweet that I saw on Twitter that's highly relevant to this conversation. This guy Gone says, "I saw everyone's salary at my company. I work for a company with less than 60 people. I was talking to our HR person about something else, and they mistakenly shared their screen with everyone else's salaries. I took a screenshot, and now I know I get paid the least in my team. I feel super demotivated and a bit angry since I've been working here since we had like 5 people. What do I do with this information?" So very interesting tweet here, and this is a problem a lot of people are facing within their careers, and this is a symptom of getting way too comfortable with your current role and your job and being afraid to ask for a promotion or a pay raise, or at least getting paid the market value for what you're worth. I think that this also goes to show that loyalty does not pay, especially within corporate America. Just because you're loyal, it doesn't mean that you're automatically going to get a lot of pay rises and promotions, getting paid what you're worth. You might, if you're in a good role, you have a great manager, and you're in a good environment where people are getting promoted every 2 to 3 years, and you're getting the pay rises in equivalent to what the market rate is paying at that time. If so, that's great, but I would say 90% of people are getting underpaid by staying in jobs for way too long. And the studies are actually showing that the people that get paid the most and rise up the ranks most within corporate America, or within the job space in general, they tend to switch jobs every 2 to 3 years. And that is the best way to actually secure yourself a pay raise, because companies are willing to pay a premium for higher quality candidates than promoting from within and paying at that higher rate. And so you can, if you negotiate it right and you go about it in the right way, every single job jump that you do every 2 to 3 years, you can actually secure yourself a really good pay rise, and also to increase in title and job responsibilities as well. And so I pretty much go through this philosophy, which is what I've done is within every 1 to 3 years, internally at the same job that I have, I would try to go for and ask for what I need to do to get the next pay raise or the next promotion. And if I do everything that they said, and I've documented it and I've shared it with them and I've demonstrated my value, and they still say no, that is time for me to say, hey, it's time for me to go. I appreciate the opportunity, but I'm going to go where I'm treated best and where I'm valued. And that is something that I have done. And the danger of staying too long is a lot of people tend to overstay their welcome, or they don't ask, right? Closed mouths don't get fed. So if you don't ask for a pay raise, for promotion, or asking what is required for you to get there, your career is no longer within your control. Your career is now controlled by your manager, the executive team, HR, and you are no longer in control of your income. And we don't want that, because let's be honest, the people that are in management, the executive executives, ownership of these businesses, they want to try to pay you the least amount as possible and get the most amount of value in return. And so you have to vouch for yourself. And if you don't vouch for yourself, no one else is going to vouch for you. So when you're within each role, every 1 to 3 years, you want to find a way to try to upskill and increase your value as much as possible and document everything. Incredibly important. As well as what you want to do is reverse engineer what you need to do, 1 to rankings within your job or promotions in the future. So what I always did, I always looked ahead at the next level and the level above on what type of work experience I need, what is required, what do I need to accomplish, what skills do I need to have, and now I try to reverse engineer from there and figure out what I can do in my current day-to-day job or within a consulting or freelancing engagement to get those requirements, so when I go and interview for those next higher level roles within the next 1 to 2 years, I can confidently go into an interview and say, hey, I've done X, Y, and Z, and in exchange for that, I want this level of compensation. And so that's what I highly recommend. That's what I did. And it gives you a sense of purpose and direction as well, because I feel like a lot of the time we're kind of just going through the motions day to day within our job, and we're just kind of aimlessly working, hoping, right? The hope strategy of getting a promotion, hoping our manager likes us more and that they're going to promote us, but that's not necessarily the case. We're going to have to take it into our own hands, reverse engineer, get our own checklist. Okay, we got to do this, we got to learn that, we got to do this type of accomplishment, we need this level of competency, and that gives us more purpose, a stronger purpose every single day when we go to our job, and we can actually work with deliberate intent. The next thing that's incredibly important is to keep an eye on the total level of compensation that your current value that you have within your career. And so you can calculate this by going on a different range of websites that give a lot of compensation information. But within these job websites, you want to be able to input your levels of experience, your different job titles, your geographic location, your level of education, certifications, and other accomplishments and responsibilities that you and the overall value that you've given within each job, and that can give you your current level of market value compensation. And you can determine if you're getting paid a fair wage, or you can determine if you're being overpaid, which is kind of good. We would all like that. And then you would also be able to understand if you're underpaid as well. But even more important, this gives you strong data points and an understanding of what compensation you need to ask for when you're interviewing for the next job and trying to get that next pay bump. And so you can actually come into these interviews armed and ready with actual data points, and also combining that with all the experience and the value demonstrated that you've documented that I've mentioned before, and then you can negotiate strongly for the compensation that you really want. And that's what I did in my past role. So the latest job that I got, I did the same exact thing. I looked up the job title and the role, looked up the fair market compensation, combined that with my level of skills, experience, and accomplishments, and then use those talking points as negotiation tools to getting the compensation that I wanted. And they literally just gave it to me. They're like, oh yeah, that sounds pretty fair. Because most of the time they're coming across candidates they don't really know. They're just kind of like, oh, well, I don't know, what do you think? And then they set the compensation for you. It's like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm setting the compensation for myself, and I have a lot of talking points to back that up. And so that's what I did. And if you come into these conversations armed with data like that, a lot of the time they really won't mess with you. Sometimes they might come back and rebuttal, but at least you're starting from a stronger negotiating place and not just kind of letting them choose the level of compensation that you have. Another hack to increase your income as an employee within the context of a job is to be in a performance-based career. And so what that means is you have a career that pays you based off of the results that you can get. And so, for example, I work in tech sales, and that is a performance-based career. So half of my income is a steady base salary, and then the other half is determined by my level of performance, which is how much net new revenue do I sell for the business, and I get a certain percentage of that, which is my commission. And so depending on my level of performance and how much value I add to the organization, they pay me in return. And so that is a cheat code and really to controlling your compensation, which is one of the main reasons why I got into tech sales. And so you're almost kind of like your own entrepreneur or business within the context of this business. You're selling for yourself. So you yourself are kind of like your own CEO. And there's a lot of other performance-based careers that pay you heavily based on performance. performance. Some of them might be related to software engineering, for example, or certain roles within finance, and a wide variety of roles that pay you based off of performance. But for the vast majority of people, this doesn't really apply to them. A lot of people worked in fixed salary roles where they kind of stay at the same level of compensation no matter how hard they work. The only way for them to increase their income is to get a promotion or a raise that they ask for or is given to them, or they go and get another job and secure that pay bump and get to the next level. But overall, the hack is a performance-based career. But please note that these type of roles come with a lot of responsibility and a lot of instability a lot of the time, because if you aren't hitting the quotas and the performance metrics that are given to you, your job might be in jeopardy. And I'm not gonna lie, that happened to me in my last role. It was a startup, so there was no strong understanding of like a go-to-market strategy and understanding what worked, and so they pretty much fired the entire sales team. But that kind of comes with a performance-based career, but there's tremendous upside and then a slightly higher amount of risk compared to a normal, stable, salary type of job. The other hack here is doing part-time freelance consulting or contract type of work. And this is where you actually really are an entrepreneur, and you take the skills and value that you have within your current career and applying that almost as like a sword for hire or a mercenary for a wide variety of roles, and then you actually almost set your level of set your price. And this gives you a tremendous amount of autonomy, and you can get a wide array of projects that can actually help you build up your resume and make you a stronger candidate for, let's say, going for other jobs or also other freelance consulting and contract type of work. And this is actually one of the biggest hacks, and it's going to require for you to be a self-starter. You might have to manage multiple levels of clients, different projects, and also balance that with your current job if you have the time, or if your job even allows you to. Most of the time you can, but this is a huge hack as well to increasing your income, and I highly recommend it for everybody. And it also gives you a second stream of income just in case you happen to be laid off or lose your job, your main job, for whatever reason. And the beauty about this, my favorite part about this, is you have a tremendous amount of autonomy as well. So the overall conclusion to this video is to making sure that you take charge of your career, reverse engineering how to get to the next step, learn how to negotiate, learn how to interview properly, learn how to advocate for yourself, feel free to embellish, and don't be afraid to jump ship and move to a different role in a different company that's going to pay you the amount that you want. And also, don't be afraid to ask for a raise and for a promotion. As long as you fulfill the requirements of what's needed to move to that next level, ask for it. Go ahead. You deserve it, 100%. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you've gotten value from it. And if so, please like and subscribe. It'd be much appreciated. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Peace.